And we are live and I'm recording. Hello, everyone in Europe. My name is Rachel O'Brien. You know that because you're on my Facebook page. And I am here with one of the most beautiful men that I have had. Oof.
Aw.
Yeah, I've had the experience in, I'm going to say, like receiving what it is to be me through your eyes, Charlie. And Charlie is a relationship done different facilitator. I'm a relationship done different facilitator. Both of us have been hurt and put up lots of barriers. And I guess we have pushed down those barriers because we know that we can always create something greater than what, Charlie?
Than anything we've created before.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
How about if
exactly.
we started there, just letting people know that no matter what you've created, your future is not determined by that.
Wow. Okay, that's huge. So
Let's start just there.
just that tiny little thing of, whatever you experienced in the past, that you don't have to have that as a future, you know? And so for me, as someone, I'm not sure that you may know this, but I got married when I was 21, and I was used to a lot of conflict in relationship. So instead of being vulnerable, which is what Relationship Done Different is about, is me saying, hey, you know what, I require this and I'm not great at asking for support. And I know I require support right now. But the way that I was trained, Charlie, is you be self-reliant no matter what. Self-reliant. By myself, I will do it all. Yeah. Exactly. And then you get so tired trying to be everything to everyone that then you get angry and you blame the person that you're in relationship because you're an overgiver or an overfunctioner, And it really didn't work because there was no honoring. My reality didn't exist in that repeat of the way that I was taught relationship was, instead of creating what I would like to have.
But what a great quality. I mean, it turned out that it had a limitation in it, but what a great quality of self-reliance. I mean, that's a superpower as well as a limitation.
Okay, so this is one of your superpowers, is you're always willing to see the beauty and the greatness in something that, I'm going to say, any person you work with would have decided that there was something wrong in their personality and their functionality. You will always look at, well, hang on a second, I get that you had this self-reliance, but how beautiful was that? And you can ask for support. That's an amazing capacity to be able to take care of yourself. And you can have support as well.
What if we just invited anybody and everybody who's listening to this and experiencing in any way, that just hearing what you said and what I said, all they have to do is say, I'll have that, more of that. That no matter where you are while you're listening to that, if anything we just said is something that you would like, you would like that capacity. And you would like that capacity, that's the way you behold yourself. And that's the way you behold the universe. That all you have to do is ask for that. That is not beyond your reach. No matter where you've been, no matter what consciousness you've been living in, is that can change on a dime. That you can just ask for different.
Yeah. And this is the most beautiful thing that I adore about Relationship Done Different, is you can actually ask for what you would like to have. Like it's just so beautiful that you can become present. And one of the things that you said is that you've got to be willing to judge nothing as a wrongness and really receive everything. And that's, we're talking about receive. When we talk about receive, what we're talking about is the ability to choose something different and an energy that changes the way that you are in relationship, essentially. Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
And it starts with us. It's like, if we live in wrongness of any kind, then what do we do in relationship? Well, we have to then hide that wrongness. We can't be ourselves. We can't be who we truly are because we think there's something wrong about us. We can't ask for what we truly require. We can't ask for a change because we're wrong. And so for a moment, could we all just all together destroy and uncreate every place where you were made wrong, or you made yourself wrong, or you just absorbed the wrongness of this world about yourself in relationship? Like, I can't do relationship, I'm fucked up, they don't work for me, whatever. What if that's not a wrongness? What if what you're saying, if they haven't worked for you before, what if there is a beauty in that? What if there's a knowing in that you actually require something different that you have not been willing yet to fully acknowledge and manifest?
Yeah.
But what now we're inviting you into, you knowing what is the difference of you, the superpower of you that you've been calling wrongness in relationship. What if there is actually in there a beautiful difference of you that once you were able to really acknowledge, you could create relationships based on that would truly work for you? How about that?
You're so funny. You're so aware, Charlie. So basically, we were looking at, I'm doing an X-Men class, and we were looking at Gary Douglas, who we both adore, said in Certified Facilitators, were you ever acknowledged as not being wrong? And so we've been using this question for the last couple of days, and then you come on.
Well, I just took it out of your brain there. Thank you very much.
And so when you talk about were you ever acknowledged for not being wrong, you see, this is the beauty for me. This is what relationship is really all about, is that being willing, no matter what, to demand of myself that I will not judge my friends, Charlie Verge, that I will not judge the people that I work with. And I will demand of myself to, you show me judgment, I'll raise you consciousness,
Yes.
Yeah.
What a game we can play, right? You show me judgment, I raise you consciousness.
Yeah. And it demands fierce presence. And also, if you, let's say you don't choose consciousness, you go into an old behavior and an old pattern, and then choice creates awareness. And when you receive from that behavior and you don't reject it, because I think we all have this, we live in a society now where we must pretend that we're perfect, like bit parts in someone's reality, like I'm Barbie, you're Ken, or, whatever. And what occurs in that is we hide all the parts of ourselves we decide that can't be seen. And it's such a plastic interaction then, because you can't really be touched. And I would say for me, one of the big challenges that I've had is now I'm getting used to people having gratitude for me. Whereas years ago, when someone had gratitude for me, I would be like, what's wrong with them? How come you not see me as wrong? What's wrong with you? And so that was a commitment to myself that I actually will receive people that are grateful for me and that are willing to create, I'm going to say, intimate conversations and actually show up so that we can have that energy of being alive. And no, I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. You know, I'm someone having an experience of having a body. And when I have people around me that don't expect me to be perfect or don't project me, this is the way you have to behave, Rachel, and this is the way we do relationship, which doesn't work for either of the two of us. We've had conversations about this. And I think the thing that's most important for me is enjoying the time that I have with someone and really sinking into every moment and being grateful that I can have conversations like these and I have people like you around the world that we can talk openly and we grow by our interaction together. We become greater, you know?
You know, you said something that really kind of just gave me the shivers. It was so expansive. And that was, you were talking about, you know, what's wrong with you if you're not making me wrong, kind of thing. And I went to the thing you said before and I said, you know, what if, you know, that's kind of like, you show me gratitude, I'll raise you judgment.
Yes, the opposite way around.
Exactly. You show me acknowledgement, I'll show you judgment.
I'll find a way to get you to make me wrong.
But how much of that have we done at times is that if we do making ourselves wrong, when somebody then shows us acknowledgement or gratitude, is that we don't receive it.
Yeah.
That you can't receive that which you're not willing to be. And if you're not willing to not be wrong, then you can't receive acknowledgement. You can't receive kindness. You can't receive gratitude that gets locked out of your world. And so for any of us who are still doing that in any way, could we destroy and uncreate all that and allow yourself to receive what you truly be, not who your parents made you to be, or who they thought they were being. You caught that that's what you're supposed to be a human, is to be wrong. Could you just please open a space right now? Could we open up a space of acknowledging you as a space of no wrongness, and that you are willing to receive acknowledgement of that from the universe, from your friends, from your partners, from your lovers, from your family, whatever, and allow your universe to change.
It's so funny for people watching this, and they might come along and see us talking now or in the future. When we talk about destroy and uncreate, we're not talking about destroying myself and Charlie's conversation or the interaction that we're having as two people. We're talking about destroying obligations, destroying fixed points of views, destroying expectations, destroying projections, and the big one, destroying judgment, which is a conviction that this person has to be a certain way, and if you're not this way, then out of my life, which is quite vicious and mean, really, because there's no receiving of that person, you know. And so when we say destroy and uncreate, we're actually gifting you a chance to let go of, let's say, energies, whether that energy is an expression of judgment, separation, rejection. You know, we're destroying everywhere where I reject you, where I separate from me, where I, you know, have a projection, an expectation, a judgment, a conclusion. And then then allows us to truly step into what Charlie talked about, is the honor, the actual honoring of you as a person, and honoring that you're allowed to have caring for yourself. And there's this weird, the only way that I can even address this, there's this weird consciousness with relationship that when I recognize that I'm not missing anything and I'm enthusiastic for being alive and I've gratitude for me, then everything in the universe, including people, start to be that energy with you. Yeah, it's so funny the way that we're trained to take a projection and then expect something instead of actually having gratitude for ourselves and enjoying every moment and see what shows up and what can be created, you know.
That's beautiful, Rachel. Beautiful. You know, for those of you who are listening in Access, if you're not that familiar with it, we have something called presumptive realities. And the presumptive realities are just what we assume is fact.
Yes.
So the things that we think about ourselves, that we think of as fact, like I'm wrong in this way, or I'm inadequate, or I'm not enough, or whatever. And when you carry those presumptions around about yourself, then what we do is that we require others to react to us.
Yes.
All those reactive realities. We require others to validate those points of view, validate those presumptions, and then we create relationships. We continue to create relationships based on that. And yes, people will come and then mirror that. They will give us back to those presumptive realities. So if your presumptive reality is anything that isn't true about you, for you, you're going to get mirrored back things that aren't true about you.
Yes.
When I say about that, let's define what is true about you, because you could have been fooled about what is really true about you. And what we see in Access is what makes you light is what is true about you. And what makes you heavy is a lie. When I first heard that, it just like warped my head. Like, that can't be right. That can't be that easy. That the truth is really whatever you experience as a lightness. And that what you experience as heavy in your life is actually not true for you. So are the judgments that you have about yourself true if they make you feel heavy? No. Is the I'm wrong about this, or I'm not enough, or I have to be different in order to get along in this world? Those are to be loved. Or to be loved.
You know, I can't be loved as I am, so I have to look like this, or I have to behave like this, or I have to deliver this. And you said something that was brilliant, because even you having this conversation, Access Consciousness is a set of tools that allow you to create something that works for you and change anything that isn't. That's just taking a shorter version of it. I'm now recognizing that I came to Access Consciousness with so many lies about myself, and in going to the relationship classes and in looking at what was my point of view about me in relationship, everything that wasn't true about me actually fell away in the choice to be grateful for me and to follow what's light. And was that always easy? No, it wasn't. And sometimes you require, I'm going to say, like a maximum input of energy. Like if you're doing a sprint, sometimes you require a maximum input of energy to make a choice that's going to give you the future that you would like to have. And so I've spent the last 12 years weeding out these points of views that were total lies about myself, and replacing it with choices that did allow me to be grateful for myself. And for me, the thing that I've changed the most, Charlie, and this blows my mind, is that I now know I'm cared for by the universe, and I'm capable of caring for myself by trusting what I know. And that, to me, when I first started Access Consciousness, was broken, because I was seeing myself through the lies, that I grew up in.
Beautiful, just beautiful. I mean, you just said that, seeing ourselves through the lies.
I know.
Seeing ourselves through the way the universe sees us, the way that the eyes of consciousness see us, is without any judgment.
And that's, so if you're watching and you're like, what is the judgment? A conviction that you have to be a certain way, or do a certain way, or behave a certain way. Whereas beyond that is gratitude, is that you choosing the way that you would like to live and you acknowledging what actually works for you. And so for me, judgment doesn't create any future or it doesn't change anything. I think it's one of the big lies that we've been given, that if I go into a black hole and I analyze my behavior, I'm going to become greater. No. If I receive a behavior, let's say that I have a shitty behavior, and I had shitty behaviors. I had shitty behaviors in relationship. And if I receive those behaviors and go, actually, is that light? No. Is that me? No. Okay, I'm behaving like this. Okay, so what's the value of this anger? Or, what do I love about, getting angry? Oh, I prove my presumptive reality that I'm not cared for. And then I'm in that reaction again, and I find people that won't be able to care for me. And then I go around in a loop for, 40 years in my case, and I don't ever get free of the lie. Whereas this presumptive reality point of view that you can change your presumptive reality, actually, I am cared for. That simply isn't true. And now what would it take for me to be willing to receive, give myself the space of that caring, and then I will receive it. It's just, you have a relationship done different class coming up, and these classes, they change the course of direction in the way that you live your life and the way you walk through the world in relationship. There's no other way for me to say this. You're navigating into something that's going to destroy. Like for me, judgment is a black hole in relationship. There's no communion, there's no coming together. And it takes massive courage to not separate from the other person, because actually, Charlie, when I separate from you, I'm separating from me, And so it's a course direction in the way you can live and the choices you make, and also receiving the parts of yourself that you think are yourself, let's say, that don't work, and that you don't have to judge them. They're not wrong. They're just not working to create what you would like to have. And for me, this behavior isn't working to have what I would like to have with Charlie. This behavior isn't working to have what I would like to have with me. There's no greatness in it. It's just a pattern of no fun, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. And what if our lives can be fun?
Stop, Charlie. Fun.
I know it's a radical idea, but what if the purpose of a relationship is fun?
That's wild. That concept is wild.
I know, but we have all these presumptive realities about why have a relationship that we don't even question, that are in the world. We have a relationship because that's what everybody's doing, is that you have a relationship. That you find one person in the world, and then you're going to somehow make them and you into something that would fulfill everybody's whatever requirements in that, which is impossible. And then you're going to meet them around 17, 18, 19 years of age, and you're going to spend till you're 99 with them, and no one's ever going to change, and everybody's going to be happy, and everybody's going to fulfill everybody's requirements. And it's just an extremely insane notion that is going to work on that presumption, on that basis.
Yeah.
And that you wouldn't change and have different requirements and have different ways and so forth. And so when we talk about relationship done different, we're really talking about creation, about creating your life in a way that works for you, you're caring enough about your life and you to create the life that will work for you. And the tools that we offer in the Relationship Done Different classes are all based on that. And they're all tools to empower you to create the relationships in your life, all your relationships that can work for you based on what you require, what you desire, not what anybody else in this world requires and desires. For me, Rachel, it's like it took me for a long time to get to the point. Like, I didn't create a lot of bad relationships. I've had a lot of relationships. Been married 3 times, but and divorced 3 times, and but they were not really bad. They were not really bad. But you know what? They didn't work for me.
I know.
And I finally arrived at a place where I said, standard form structure relationship in this world doesn't work for me. That's not what I was looking for. And I took what I was looking for and put it through the structure of what this world calls relationship. And it didn't work, and it wouldn't work because I'm too much of a unique creature for that to work. Now I create these things, these ways of being with people that really do work. And one of them was with somebody I was married to. And now I have with that person enormously fun, enormously valuable, enormously contributive, enormously generous and kind connection with that person. But it's based on how we can contribute to each other and not on the expectations that come from this world, or even the expectations that got stuck in our heads about how we're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be. It's not based on that. It's based on what works.
And when we say insane, we're talking about non-working points of views. And for me, I would say relationship is one of the areas where there is so much insanity. And so we created this, I guess you could call it like a little podcast live to invite you guys to check out Relationship Done Different. And more than anything else, to contribute you to know if you're out there and you have the point of view you're fucked up in relationship. What if you're not? What if you know something greater can actually be for you? And you know, for me, I'm the type of person that requires a lot of space. That's just the way I am. And that's not wrong. That is one of my basic requirements in the way that I live. And that's nothing personal to do with anyone else. And that's the beauty of Relationship Done Different, is you get to go on a journey with yourself to see what you require. It's so beautiful.
It is beautiful. Can I give a plug for my course if anybody out there gets the ping?
Of course.
Okay. So I have it's called Relationship Done Different, the beginning. So, we have a big 3-day class that really takes this stuff up and empowers you to really create. But this is a way to introduce you to these tools and you to start to empower yourself to create the life and the relationships that you want in your life. And it's this Saturday. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Coast American time, US time. And if you want to go check it out, you can go to drcharlieverge.com.
So there you go, folks. It's Saturday, June 1st. Pretty sure it's European time. It's 2 p.m. I'll say 2 p.m. your time. Okay, we'll put the link in. If you give me the link, I'll put the link in. These classes have, again, transformed the way that I'm going to say, like, I walk through the world and the way that I am with myself. So I'm so grateful for these classes. And Charlie, I'm very grateful for you, for your openness and your willingness to actually be vulnerable. As a man, it takes a lot of courage to talk about what you require, and what works for you. So thanks for being the brave, courageous, wild one, the first of a possibility for a different future relationship. And I adore you. Thanks so much.
I adore you, Rachel, and thank you for having me on.
And we hope this live contributed to you, and we hope you got something from it, you learned something from it. And how does it get any better than this? And what if you could have relationships that actually were fun and you came away from that interaction with a sense of joy and playfulness? And yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks so much. Mwah. Mwah. Bye. Mwah. Mwah. Bye, everyone. Bye.